Hi, I'm Dr. Paul Jenkins. I'm here today to share with you the strangely simple pattern for effective communication. I'll cover the 5 strategies and then I'll give you a special gift that's going to make it a whole lot easier. To understand these strategies, you first need to know just a little bit about how your brain works. I'm a professional psychologist and I've learned a lot about brain science and brain physiology. Your brain is equipped with something that we call the fight or flight mechanism. This is simply the way your brain is trying to take care of you. And that's one of its main jobs, to keep you safe and to take care of you so that you can live and breathe another day. Because of that, anytime your brain picks up on a threat of any kind, it will kick you into the fight or flight response. This is a chemical response triggered by your brain where different chemicals like adrenaline and cortisol and other neurotransmitters are secreted right into your bloodstream to prepare your body to do one of those two things. Fight or get the heck out of there. Fight or flight. That's how you're going to stay safe if you're being attacked by a bear. Picture that for a minute. You're walking along, just enjoying the weather. Suddenly a big angry bear comes out from behind a tree. Roar! Wants to rip your face off. Notice what would happen to your heart. It would start beating really fast. Your breathing would get rapid and shallow because your body is experiencing that chemical reaction that puts you into the fight or flight response. You either need to fight the bear, put up your dukes, or get out of there as fast as you can. Fight or flight. It makes sense, right? Your brain's doing exactly what it's supposed to do. This is important to understand as we get into our communication strategies. Here's strategy number 1. Don't be a bear. What I mean is, coming into a conversation or communication with another person, if you are snarling and ready to rip their face off, what are you going to trigger in them? The fight or flight response. It's the way their brain is designed as well. So if you're coming at it with any level of hostility or accusation or snarling, whatever that means for you, that's going to shut down the communication very quickly as they go into their fight or flight response. You'll usually see that this is happening if they become defensive or resistant, or if they're trying to dodge it or get out of the way, or if they're fighting back. That'll be a surefire sign that they're seeing you as a bear. Don't be a bear. Strategy number 2, don't see a bear. Even if they are coming at you, snarling and ready to rip your face off. You'll naturally have that fight or flight reaction if you feel like someone is attacking you. In a communication, that's what gets in the way most often. And you'll find yourself becoming defensive. Now, you don't control how they show up. You with me on that? It's not up to you whether they're snarling or not. It's up to you whether you see a bear or not. It's kind of funny because one of my clients is a veterinary hospital in British Columbia. And we were doing a training with the whole hospital staff on this communication model. And I shared with them, don't be a bear, and everybody got that. And I said, don't see a bear. And there were snickers all throughout the whole room. People are just kind of chuckling about this. And I'm like, what? Dr. Paul, we actually see bears. This is in British Columbia. And they actually treat bears in their hospital. But what if we could take a position where we don't see bears in the people that we're interacting with and communicating with? How you perceive them is up to you. Here's a little hack that might make that easier. Hurt people hurt people. Think that through. Hurt people, people who are injured or hurting, hurt people sometimes show up like a bear. You don't have to see a bear. You could see a person who's hurt, or a person who's frustrated, or a person who is struggling with some issue in their own life. It's not even about you, but they're snarling a little bit because of their own pain. Would that change how you see them? You don't have to see a bear. So that's strategy number 2. Don't see a bear. Are you finding this helpful? If you're trying to take some notes, don't worry, I've done the work for you. I've put together the 5 strategies right here, starting with don't be a bear, don't see a bear. We'll get to the other 3 in just a minute. If you want a copy of this list, just go to the URL that's on the screen. I've put this together for you for free. Just go grab it. drpauljenkins.com/communication. That'll be your communication cheat sheet. You're welcome. Now let's get to number 3. To understand the next 3 strategies, we have to understand a little bit about the basic communication model. Now, in every communication, there's a sender and a receiver. So the message originates over here with the sender and it goes over here to the receiver. This is true in radio and television. It's true in a conversation with your spouse or your child. Sender, receiver. Before the sender can send the message over, they have to encode that message. Usually encoding happens with language. Like English, for example. I'm encoding all of this in English. Yeah, isn't that clever? Because I know English. Now, we could use a different language. That's a whole different code. Codes also include body language and facial expressions. That's why we went over don't be a bear and don't see a bear first. That's all part of the encoding. Once it gets encoded over here on the sender side, it has to be decoded over here on the receiver side. And before it can even get decoded on this side, it has to go through this whole cloud of noise in the middle. Noise is anything that interferes with the signal from the sender to the receiver. And it could be physical noise like a jackhammer or a backhoe working in your cul-de-sac or whatever. It could also be mental noise. Have you ever been in that conversation with someone where you can tell there's a whole lot of noise in their head because the lights are on but nobody's home? You can tell they're thinking about something completely different from what you're discussing. That's noise. Also, culture and gender and tradition and thought patterns and experiences, all of those things can contribute to the noise that happens in between. With everything that could go wrong, it's amazing that we can contribute at all. So if the sender's message is A, after the encoding and the noise that it passes through and the decoding, by the time it gets to the receiver, it looks like B instead of A. Our goal is to make sure that A equals A, so that what is received is what was sent. That's when true communication is happening. So let's go to strategy number 3. Eliminate the noise, or at least reduce it as much as you can. Even being aware of it is going to help. When you track that, oh, I've got some noise in my head around this thing. Good, notice that so that you can quiet the noise a little. And in your environment, let's say you're having a conversation with a member of your family. Put the phone away. Unless, of course, you're talking to them on the phone. But I'm talking about a face-to-face conversation. Set the devices aside. Turn off the television. Reduce the noise so that we're not getting distracted and having a lot of interference in that conversation. This should go without saying. But you go to a restaurant. Vicki and I do this sometimes when we're out for a dinner. And we'll look around and people at the table sitting with someone that they supposedly love and have a relationship with, and they're both buried in their digital devices. Noise. It's going to get in the way. So reduce the noise. Strategy number 4, listen to understand. This I got from Stephen Covey, who is one of the greatest leadership trainers that ever hit the planet. And he said that our first goal in communication should be to listen, to put ourselves in that receiver position first. And this is a little counterintuitive because usually our goal, our motivation in communication is to get our message across to the other person. Covey is suggesting, hey, let's reverse that. Let's take the receiver role first and listen to understand. Notice that understanding and agreeing are not the same thing. This trips people up too. They're afraid if they express understanding that that person's going to think I agree with them, and well, we can't have that. No, it simply means that A equals A. All right, the message came through. It was delivered, it was communicated. Check, we got it. Listen to understand. And then the fifth strategy for effective communication is to express to be understood. This is where we pop over to the sender role. And I would suggest that you postpone your need to be understood until the person that you're in communication with is satisfied that you understand them. That's why we put it in that order. First, listen to understand. Second, express to be understood. And notice the goal is the same, understanding. We are not expressing to persuade or convince or rebut or debate what we just heard. We are expressing to make sure that A equals A. So you're going to encode it in a language that you know this other person understands. You're going to take care of your facial expressions and your body language in a way that helps them to understand what you're trying to communicate. Do those 5 strategies help? I think that they will. Remember to grab your communication cheat sheet. I put this up for you earlier, and I've got a free copy of this that I'll send to you. Just tell me where you want it. drpauljenkins.com/communication. I'll put it right in your inbox. I've got you on this.